Hi, this is Talgrim. You are watching my 11th Warrior PvP video for Rift. All of this footage is of my warrior at rank 3 with Riftblade Paladin as my spec. I do feature various 1v1s and 1v2s against different class comps, and I should note that my gear is pretty average. I do have the epic crafted Shield the Wall, which has a pretty nice damage reflection proc, and in terms of weapon I'm still using a blue weapon, the rank 1 favor longsword, and I did get an epic crafted tanking mace after this video, but just keep in mind against my opponents I'm pretty average geared here for rank 3, or probably below average. So this first clip here, a rogue stun locks me. As soon as I'm out, I use my snare and root and start strafe kiting, and the rogue shadow shifted, but I kept staying on the move, and as soon as he snares me to close the gap, I use Rift Walk to counter, and then continue to strafe kite away, and you can see that while strafing I'm able to maintain some good dots on him with Fiery Burst and also with Rift Surge, and then I've dropped him with a shield throw there. One very useful ability is a 21-point Paladin AoE bubble called Reverent Protection, and you can use it to bubble cap flags like I did right there. I was taking some damage, but the bubble was absorbing the damage and allowing me to cap. So right here I use the combo of Stone Shield to cause an attack to miss, then the 3-point AoE bubble Reverent Protection, and I recap that flag with about 4 seconds to go. So the other faction had almost flipped this node. This is a very tight match, and I do die here in a second, but by getting that bubble cap I basically reset them back another minute or so to capping Codex, and as it turns out we won that match, and little things like that can make a difference. Right here I'm the flag carrier, and I get attacked by a two-handed champ, so I counter her bull rush with a Rift Walk, root her, stun her, get a 3-point Rift Surge running, and then a 3-point Fiery Burst, and you can see between those two dot abilities I'm able to bring her down pretty quickly, and then I face an opponent here who's got a mirror spec to me. The only thing is my Rift Surge is on cooldown as well as, and my stun is as well.
Once we throw some invites out, we'll really start tearing it up.
So once I get back down to low health here, I go ahead and pop a 3-point Reverent Protection as well as Stone Shield. And that is a really awesome combination for boosting survivability. So you can see here I'm not taking any damage because one attack missed and the rest is being absorbed. I get stunned here, counter with Rift Walk. Rift Surge is back off cooldown, so I go ahead and use it and finish off my opponent. You know, I try to take 1v1s and 1v2s of various class comps, and for whatever reason I couldn't find many clerics to fight. Generally they're with other players, I guess, which makes sense, but you'll see a lot of mages, champions, and rogues. So right here I'm fighting a two-handed Riftblade champion Paragon, and after he takes some damage he ends up using a 2200 pot right there. And in a second here, a Marksman Rogue also joins in the fight. So this is a 1v2, and you can see that my team has left me alone, unfortunately, so I'm having to take care of myself. My health starts to get a little bit low here, so I pop my full heal, and then drop this warrior. And then in a moment here, I go ahead and root this marksman from range, close the gap with Rift Walk, and then once Rift Surge comes back off cooldown, I get a 3-point Rift Surge on my target, and I start strafe kiting the sides. I know I don't have to engage in melee. The rogue has no way of removing it, and between my damaging attacks and that Rift Surge, the marksman blows himself up. So this is against a mage who's standing in a ground of strength, and the really difficult thing about a mage in ground of strength is you can't really control them in terms of CC. The only thing you can do is interrupt, but I'll show one downfall. So I interrupt a fireball cast there late, but the next cast from this mage is an instant cast fireball. So this means that this is a mage with at least 10 points in the Archon tree to get double tap. And what double tap is, it's a buff that after a mage has been interrupted, their next cast is instant, and then after that instant fireball, the mage finishes me off with a 2400 crit fulminate. So I don't have any problem with the damage from mages personally. I think they should be high damage. You know, they're a cloth-wearing class, but the only issue really is that Ground of Strength in its current implementation has both that stun proc as well as makes them immune to CC, so it's impossible to control them. I was having a good 1v1 here with a Pyro Dominator Mage, but then two rogues jumped in and kind of blew me away. So right here is another Pyro Mage. This player is not in Ground of Strength. I use my silence and then stun, and then this player starts to cast Cinder Burst, and I just wait until that cast bar is almost full and then interrupt it at the end, and then finish this player off. So if it's a mage and they're casting Cinder Burst, I just let them, you know, cast it all the way up till the end, and then I break it right before the cast completes. So when I was trying to cap that flag, I did put Stone Shield up first, so the first attack from this Warlock missed, but then the Warlock smartly used a Fear to get me off the flag. Rooted here, I go ahead and break it, counter with a shield charge to close the gap. The main difficulty when fighting a Warlock is they have very good self-healing capabilities, so you have to be careful to interrupt abilities. In a moment here you see this Warlock pops Mortality, and so I interrupt that with Wind Spear, which would come off cooldown. In general against casters, what I do is I follow with, I go with the Wind Spear first, then the stun from Light's Hammer, and then Wind Spear once it's off cooldown again. Generally you don't want to use your stun first, because then after you use Wind Spear you have to wait 15 seconds before you can use Wind Spear again. So this is against a Warlock Necro Mage and Assassin Rogue. So I'm taking a ton of damage here. I'm trying to prevent getting kited from this by this Warlock. The Warlock goes into Lich form, but does so probably a little bit too late, and I go ahead and drop the Warlock, and then this Rogue finishes me off. So definitely, between the specs, I can take, most mage classes 1v1, except for Pyro if they're in ground strength and know what they're doing. That's pretty difficult, especially if the mage is well geared. If I catch a mage out in the open, though, without ground strength, I have a decent shot. So this is a 1v2 right now, and I switch targets over to that Warrior, stun him. You can see he's stunned, trying to delay him from getting into the fight, and I've got Rift Surge and a Fiery Burst ticking on this Rogue, and then this Rogue, I close the gap with Shield Charge in the Rogue, goes ahead and vanishes using the stealth ability. The Rogue comes back. Right now it's a 1v3, a Marksman Rogue joined in, but I finish off the Assassin Rogue. And one thing I should have done in retrospect is I should have opened up and started on the Warrior. The Warrior has no escape abilities. I probably could have burned down the Warrior and might have had a chance to take down one of the other players, but I got on the Rogue first, and that was my bad. If you're fighting a one-handed Justicar Cleric, the main thing is just to maintain a gap on them. They have no gap closers. All they have is a ranged snare, and you can easily counter the snare by using Rift Walk. What you don't want to let them do is get into melee range where they can build up convictions very easily, because then they'll just slowly eat your health away while burning you down slowly. This is against Dala. She's the best melee cleric I've seen in my battle group. She's rank 5, and she hits like a truck. She's Shaman, Justicar spec, and the really hard thing about fighting a Shaman is they have a great gap closing ability, which also snares you. And so, because I can't maintain a consistent gap here, you can see her Dala. She's chewing through my health very steadily, while basically keeping herself at full. And granted, she's got a 2-rank advantage. She has an epic weapon. I do not. So there's some gear differentials, but this is the one counter spec which, assuming that we're comparably skilled or geared, I have no chance at winning. Against most other DPS specs, I have a chance at winning. It just really depends on player skill and the situation. So stay away from Shaman Justicars like the plague. They are very, very tough for melee. So I'll have some other videos coming up. 1.2 is just around the corner. I've almost grounded up to rank 4, so I'll have more videos.